What's up, guys? Wanted to come back on here and do another live analysis like I did yesterday of S&P 500 futures backslash ES, the ES mini here. Um, Not a bad day today so far. I mean, we've had some action, but overall we're still in this week and a half balanced area. If I zoom out here on the hour chart and then zoom in. So since early last week, we've been in a balanced area of a bottom range of 4,100 to 4,075. That's basically just acted as a big support zone, and then you got on the top side of the range 4,200 to about 4,180, 4,175, and we've just stuck in this. Yesterday we had a pretty good balance on the bottom of the range, came back up, got close to the top of the range, didn't actually hit 4,175, but made a lower high from these previous lower highs that we've already made here, and actually made another lower high this morning before selling off a little bit. So if you're looking for a continuation play, there's not much you can do inside this area until we break out strongly over 4,200 on the top of the range or below the bottom of the range of 4,075. There's not much of a continuation play here. I mean, this is a wide range, so kind of like what people did yesterday. If we get to the bottom of the zone and we see buyers coming in and we expect it to bounce, then you can kind of go long here, risk the bottom, and ride for a good portion of, if you want to do 100 points, it's kind of a big reward there. But yesterday you would have got about 50 to 75 points there, depending on how long you held. All right, delete these. So like I said, not much continuation until we actually break out of each or one of these zones, support zone or resistance zone. And, we have a big event on Friday morning. We have inflation numbers coming out, the CPI data. So that could be why we're just continuing to kind of balance in this area. Key participants or big participants are just kind of waiting for those numbers to come out. And so we very well may just go ahead and stay in this area until early Friday morning and either break up or break down, depending on if the numbers are good or bad. Honestly, I don't know. Nowadays, it doesn't even matter if the numbers are good or bad. It just depends on how investors react. Could be good numbers, but they'll take it bad for whatever reason. So, don't take a trade off of just if the numbers are good or bad. Take a trade off of price, and that's it. Price will tell you everything you need to know. All right, so yesterday we created a bunch of demand zones. Some of them have broken, some of them have held. So before going into the day, overnight we created a 4-hour zone here at 4150 that I don't want to extend because it's just going to clutter the chart. And we rejected off of that a couple times before the open bell. And then on the bottom of that range, bottom of the overnight range, we had this 30-minute, or I think it was 30-minute demand zone at 4135 that acted on as a support zone, basically bounce off of it a lot over here, and then broke right when the bell opened. So this was actually gone before the open bell. Below that we had a 45-minute zone at 4119. A good 15-minute zone at 4098. A good 2-hour zone at 4090. And this green line is actually an iffy 4-hour demand zone. And I'll show you why I say iffy. All right, let's see. Yeah, so I say iffy because you got a nice little basing candle here, and you got a nice rip candle out of it, but we had a little bit of rejection at the top before the close, and indicating there were some sellers up here. So I like to see more of a continuation and basically a bullish engulfing to consider my zone a true demand zone. But I knew it was good enough where you're probably going to get some buyers off of it. I didn't take a trade off of it, but I think I'm probably just getting a little picky. It could have worked. I preferred this 2-hour demand zone. So if you go on a 2-hour time frame, you got this 2-hour right here that looks a lot better. You got a nice drop base and then a massive rally out of it with not as much of a wick up here. So that's the 2-hour at 40.90. On the supply side, besides this 4-hour that we created overnight, we had a 45-minute at 41.53 that was created, I think, on Monday. And a few other zones above that. I think you have a 4-hour here at 41.75 that we haven't tested, and then a 1-hour here at 41.94. Overnight lows right before the open bell at 41.33. Overnight highs at 41.53, right below this the supply zone here at 41.53 or 41.54. All right, well, before I get into the analysis of what we've seen so far today, it looks like we're getting some selling coming in here. But like I said, we've already bounced a couple times off of this 4-hour demand zone. Basically a double bottom down here before moving up. I wouldn't say rip, but grinding up about 20 points. And now we're starting to sell off a little bit. If you watched the video yesterday, you know I said 10 minutes for the open bell, or 10 minutes for the closing bell, there's some crazy volume that just kind of comes in all of a sudden. And it looks like we just got a little bit of that if I zoom in. And that's why you got some wiki action here. Let's see where that takes us. But it looks like we may be making another higher low or a higher low off of this 4-hour demand zone, which could possibly make it move up a little higher. Or it could fall through it. Who knows? What we saw yesterday in the last 10-15 minutes was just kind of a consolidation. We didn't get continuation up off that uptrend all day like I was expecting. It just kind of sat there in the 41.50, 41.60 range. So we'll see if we get the same kind of thing here. You know, it's more of a downtrending day today. Will we get price just kind of still continuing in this area, sit here, or will we get some continuation down towards 4,100 and possibly break below? Or will we get a good move up? Let's say if this does make a higher low, you know, it's possible that this could rip up and we could end the day around 41.30 with some good momentum for bulls. Just a speculation, just a possibility. All right, so you got some decent volume there, 10 minutes for the closing bell. Kind of a lot of indecision here. You see some wicks to the top, see some wicks to the bottom. So that really didn't give us a clear indication of what we might see. And let's see if we created some supply up here. I don't think we did. Checking the 10-minute. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you definitely got some 10-minute supply there. So I don't take trades off of anything under a 15-minute time frame, but I do mark them. You know, I'll mark a 10-minute supply zone, especially if it's a clear zone like this. If I can get it. All right. Change this red, and looks like it may come up and test it. Come on, my computer's acting slow today, so bear with me. All right, you have a 10-minute supply zone there. See if we can get up there and reject off of it. That was just created on the 15-minute time frame. Nothing. 30-minute time frame. Nada. I'm pretty sure the hour is a possible. Well, not anymore. Before I started the video, price was up here around 41.20. It looked like it was going to try to create a demand zone right here. This would have been the basing candle at 41.16 if we could have got a good rip by the closing bell, which we still have 10 minutes, so who knows? It's possible. If we can get up to 41.30, you know, this would be considered a decent demand zone. Take a look at the 90-minute. Not much there. All right, go back to the 5. Okay, so we'll come back to this before the bell actually closes. All right. So, like I said, the 41.35 30-minute demand zone that was created yesterday broke right at the beginning of the open bell, so I went ahead and already deleted that. Um, we did get some buyers down here that bought the dip right below overnight lows and kicks it up a little bit. Had some low 5-minute selling before continuation up, and we came up and tested overnight highs and this 41.53 supply zone that was created, I think, on Monday, I said. All right, and in the process of that, so at 9 a.m., let's see, 9 a.m. right here, that's when a lot of candles closed, and I go back and I look at the 15-minute, the 30-minute time frame, the 45, the hour, the 90, and the 3-hour. All those candles close at 9 a.m. And I look to see if we created any demand zones or supply zones if we went downside. I look to see which had the best formation, which actually looks, had the best rip candle. And this was a 45-minute that had a pretty good demand zone out of it. I'm going to go ahead and extend that. And we came down and rejected off of this supply zone, came down, and we just kind of bounced between the supply zone and the demand zone for the first, almost first half of the day. This would have been one of your better trades of the day. As we're coming up over here, yeah, we have a pretty good rip, but we're in the supply zone and we're barely over overnight highs. So once you see it starting to come down and break over overnight highs, not being able to hold it, you see low 5-minute buying here. And that's right before it sold off. So that could have been a decent short. You got a lower high inside supply zone. You're risking 41.60, right? With eyes to take profit down in the demand zone at 41.40. Let's say you got in at 41.55. That's a good 15 point short there. And that would have been one of the better trades of the day. But we come down into this demand zone, bounce, come back up into the supply zone, reject, and again, come back into this demand zone and bounce. So actually, this could have been a play too. I don't know why I didn't mark this, but that definitely would have been a good long entry for today. And you could have rode that up into this supply zone at 41.53. Let me color that gold. All right, there you go. And that also would have been a good 10, 15 point move there. All right, we come up and we sell off again. So this could have been another move. You catch another lower high. It just keeps on making lower highs inside this 41.53 supply zone. You also could have got another short here, especially when you see weakness on low 5-minute buying here before a heavy sell-off of about 30 to 40 points. And I believe that was kind of news driven, but if you see some negative news and you're in supply, it's making a lower high, even more of more information under your belt. So it's a better or a higher probability short trade for you. And then we sold off, and in the process, we left some supply zone up here. We left a good 1-hour supply zone up here before falling straight through this demand zone. So that's gone, falling below overnight lows. And fell down to about 41.15 where it bounced there for, I don't know, there's no demand zone down there. So really, just for whatever reason, got to get a bounce at it. Just kind of had probably what it needed was a healthy consolidation for the next leg down. Consolidated here for about close to an hour and rejected off of this gray zone here, which is a previous support zone that usually when you have a pretty solid support zone, you see that we bounce here at 41.35, right near overnight lows. Bounce, 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 support, support. And I drew it all the way down to this first bounce from the first, I think, minute or second minute of the day, 41.28. And so this is just one big wide support zone. And so once you break through it, when you break through it firmly, sometimes a lot of the times it'll act as a resistance zone. So I draw these gray boxes, as you saw at the beginning of the video, as like a balanced area. You have support zone or resistance zones. I draw these to be these gray zones that look kind of transparent. So it was a support zone, now acting as a resistance zone, and it did actually reject off of it. Came down, and that's kind of where we are now. And so we had a couple bounces off this 4-hour demand zone, like I've said. We've come up, made another lower high off of this support zone, previous support zone, now resistance zone again, and rejected off of it again. And now we're into the last minute of the day, so let's see what kind of action we get here. It looks like it's going to be similar to what we saw yesterday, which is just continuation of where it's, I'm sorry, not continuation. Yeah, basically just continuation of this consolidation area that we're seeing here. If we haven't had much movement within the last 15 minutes or so, I don't know if we're going to see anything crazy within this last minute. But let's see what happens. Here comes that heavy volume. And it's just a bunch of hedge funds, institutional banks, whatever they may be, just big buyers and sellers just kind of swapping contracts here. A lot of people know, hey, if I have 1,000 contracts, 500 contracts, whatever, I'm better off. Probably going to get a better entry or position at the end of the day when I know there's a lot of liquidity on each side. Okay, well, that's where we ended. So we ended at a higher low off of this 4-hour demand zone. So it's possible we see some upward movement going into the after hours section or after hours session. But of course, that's not a guarantee. It could also fall down. I don't know. We have we have this 10-hour supply zone up here too. So we could come up here and reject off of it. Who knows? It's hard to predict. Not in the open session. It's hard enough to predict in the open session. It's really especially hard to predict in the overnight session what's going to happen because liquidity is low and things just kind of do whatever. Supply and demand zones are still respected, but it's just less volatility. So it's just a lot of random movement. But yeah, overall pretty good day today. We had some potential, couple good short entries, 1, 2, decent long entry, and then down here, you could have got a higher low or a double bottom off this demand zone, but I didn't like that upper rejection off of this 4-hour demand zone created yesterday, so didn't really want to take a trade off of that. All right, cool. Well, I hope this analysis helped, guys. If you guys have any questions, put it down in the comment box, and I will see you guys next time.